Okay, this is the homework help for lesson 9, 8.3. So we looked at power to a power in the previous lesson, and this is the extension of power to the power, looking at slightly more complicated questions. So here was the actual question, and here's the similar question that I'm actually going to do. So first of all, focus on the numbers here. I put them in a different color here to make this easier. So 16 over 12, you can remember you can type this into Desmos, and it will actually simplify it for you. So that would be 4/3. And then for each of these, we're just going to work out. So power to a power, we just multiply these together. Once again, if you're not sure, just go ahead and use Desmos. So 3 times -5 is -15. So we got a to the power of -15. And then the same for this, -7 times by 3 is -21. And then this is really where I want to make sure you are using your calculator. A lot of people guess on these. When we're dividing, when we subtract exponents, so -15 take away -21, oops, is +6. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase this and I'm just going to put the 6 on the top here. Remember, if it would have been like -6, I would have brought it to the bottom and made it +6 as well. And that might happen in some of our later questions. So here's question 2. Here's the similar question 2. So I spotted the numbers straight away, so I can just divide those. That gives me a. -3 times 5 is -15. And then on the bottom, I got -6 times 3, which is -18. And then as these are like terms, I can divide, which means subtracting exponents. So -15 take away -18 is 3. So I have my 8 at the start, and therefore the answer would just be 8a cubed. Here's the real question 3. Here's my similar question. Mine's actually slightly more complicated. I've added an exponent into the b, and I increased the power from -2 to -3. Notice on the top, though, there's nothing to simplify here. It's just a to the 7, b to the 3, c to the 6, no parentheses or anything. So that part of the question is good. On the bottom here, though, I have to do both of these to the power of -3. So I got a to the -3, and then b squared to the power of -3. That's where I'm going to multiply those exponents together to give me -6. Now, at this point, I've actually lined all the terms up and I've color coded them so you can see them simplify much easier. As I'm dividing, I subtract the exponent. So 7 take away 3 is 10. 3 take away -6 is 9. And then there's nothing to simplify with this one. So that's just c to the 6, exactly as it appears. Question 4, I actually think question 4 is probably easier than 1, 2, and 3 personally, but hey. So this is the real question, and this is my question, so make it similar. So I got my power on the outside of the parentheses here, so I need to kind of distribute the 2 through to both of these. So I got to do 5 squared and a4 squared. So let me do that. So, and I'm just writing it out. So first of all, I'm not even working it out at this stage. 5 squared, you can work that out on the calculator, 25. 4 times 2 is 8, so I got a to the 8. And then I still have to times by this. This doesn't have any power on the outside, so it's just 3a to the power of 5. Now I'm looking for like terms, so 25 times by 3, I can certainly work out. And a to the 8 times a to the 5, I can add those exponents together as well, which would be 13. And there we go, there's our answer. For my question similar to question 5, this time it's similar, but we have a negative exponent at the start. So I got to do 6 to the power of -3 and a to the 4 to the power of -3 first of all. And 4a to the 5 is just 4a to the 5. So this one here with the numbers, just go ahead, use your Desmos calculator. It'll give you a decimal. Click on the fraction to decimal and it'll work it out for you. 1/216. 4 times -3 is -12. So you got a to the -12. And then this term just stays here. Well, like terms, I got numbers, so I can multiply those together. 1/216 times 4. Just go ahead, use the Desmos again. It'll do it all for you. 1/54. And -12 add 5 gives me -7. And remember, for negative exponents, we're just going to bring them to the bottom and we're going to make them positive. So we change the position and make it positive. Don't forget to do both when you've got negative exponents. Question 6. We have this huge expression all to the power of -1, and I've got the same thing here. Now, there are several ways you can do this. The way I always prefer to do questions is I always like to, if you can, simplify inside the parentheses first, kind of following on from PEMDAS or GEMDAS if possible. So I want to simplify this. So I want to subtract these exponents. So 7 take away -2 gives me 9. -3 take away 5 is -8. And -4 take away 9 is -13. So that makes this look much nicer now. Instead of having 6 terms, which I've got to bring this -1 to for all of them, now I only have 3 terms. So that's going to make this much easier for me. So as I'm doing this, I'm multiplying power to a power. So 9 times -1, -8 times -1, and -13 times -1. Of course, we can't leave anything with a negative exponent in our answer, so that's going to move to the bottom of the fraction and become positive. But I think that's much easier than doing each term to the power of -1, if you can remember to do that. You will still get the right answer, but this would make your life much easier if you can simplify first. This one's much easier than question 6. So we can certainly, so on this one here, you can do 12 squared and next to the 6 squared, and you could do this for this one, 20 cubed, and that's just going to be a really big number though. But notice if you simplify first, 20 divided by 5 is 4. 9 take away 2, because I'm dividing here, so I subtract exponents, is x to the 7. And then 4 cubed, you might actually know that one. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And 7 cubed, 7 times 3 is 21. And we're done. And that's going to be much easier than trying to simplify 8,000, which is 20 cubed, divided by 5 cubed, which is 125. Yes, you can use a calculator, but always try and simplify first. It'll make your life that little bit easier. And for the last question, we have one term raised to a power, another term not raised to a power, and another term. So here's my similar question. So with fractions, I want to focus on the top first and then the bottom. So for this first one, I can see I've got this whole term cubed. So I need to cube each of these terms here. So that's my first job. So 5 cubed, I did on Desmos, 125. A to the 2 to the 3, 2 times 3 is 6. And b cubed is just b cubed. This term's exactly the same, and the bottom's exactly the same, because that wasn't what I was working at this stage. Now on the top, I can definitely simplify these terms because these are multiplication. So 125 times 2, a to the 6 times a to the 2, add the exponents. B to the 3 times b. Remember, b is just b to the 1, so 3 add 1 is 4. And there's only one term with c cubed, so there we go, c cubed. And then on the bottom, I can just copy this down. And then now I can go ahead and simplify this whole thing. So 250 divided by 50, a to the 8 divided by a to the 7, subtracting exponents gives me a to the 1, so I'm just going to put a. 4 take away 2 gives me 2, and 3 take away 1 gives me 2. So for division with numbers, it's just your regular division that you've been using since elementary school. Division with exponents, that's when you're subtracting the exponents. And yeah, these are the most complicated questions probably within the exponent section. So just make sure that you understand all these and then go ahead and try those 8 questions there.